Welcome to this month's episode of Best New Balances of the Month, this being August 2023. As usual, I'll start off the video with all of the New Balances that were officially released in some sort of fashion, and I'll end off the video with all of the New Balances that were revealed or leaked during the month of August. First up, we have a new 991 GR, this being the underglazed colorway. It's a pretty solid colorway. It's going to be great for the fall and winter season. It kind of reminds me of the tan leather ALD collab, except it's in suede instead. It's a very nice shade of tan suede, and it looks really solid on the 991. Next up, we have the official release of the Warped Runner. The first colorway is in this simple sea salt colorway. I don't really care too much for this model. The most interesting part about this was seeing reviews in that despite the midsole being fuel cell, it's actually rather firm and stiff on feet, which I think is pretty interesting. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to review it just for the fit and feel, but otherwise I don't really care too much for the look, and I feel like this new model is just going to be forgotten, just like the RC30, XC72, and 237 models. And next up, we have a 3-pack of 650R GRs. They're in these interesting age/vintage look, and they come in 3 different colors. You got like a dark purple colorway, a navy colorway, and an interesting green colorway. They're all pretty solid shoes, and they're rock solid GR colorways for the 650R. And next up, we had an early release of the 996 yellow and green colorway on Amine Door. This is one of 3 of the final colorways for Teddy Santis Season 3, and this 996 officially released early on Amine Door. I think it's a pretty solid colorway for the 996, but I personally like this colorway better on the 990 V6. It mostly consists of a leather upper, which is pretty interesting. Speaking of early 996 Teddy Santis releases, this white and black leather 996, which is supposed to be part of the first initial colorways for Season 4, has already dropped on End, and it's in pretty much a full-size run. Of course, there is some upcharge, so if you live in the US like me, I definitely recommend waiting for the US release, but if you want them now, you can get them right now on End with some pretty fast shipping. It's a very simple and clean 996 colorway. I don't really care too much for it. It's very plain in my opinion, but it'll probably go with any outfit, and it looks like a high quality pair. And next up, we have the 580 in this new Cosmic Rose colorway. This is yet another rock solid 580 GR colorway. It dropped at various places, surprisingly not on NewBalance.com yet. I think it's a low-key heat type of colorway. It's definitely a great summer colorway. It's mostly gray, black, and white, but then you get that pop of, I guess, Cosmic Rose in the end logo, as well as a hit of bright blue. I think it's a very fire colorway for the 580. You guys know I love the 580. I think it's a very underrated silhouette right now, and if you're looking for a solid 580 GR, I definitely recommend this colorway. Starting off the collabs that officially released in August 2023, we have the Size 990 V3 collaboration. This is a very fire collab in my opinion. This orange cream colorway on the V3 looks great, and you got a lot of different details around the shoe. I think it's a rock solid collab from Size. And next up is a Johnny collaboration on 2 1906R colorways as well as the RC30. One of the 1906Rs is an all yellow colorway with hits of black. The other one is a mostly white colorway with hits of black and a pop of yellow in the end logo. And then the RC30 is an interesting combo of black and yellow. All 3 shoes look pretty solid, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that this collaboration instantly sold out on NewBalance.com. I personally really like this collab, but I knew that it was a pretty wild and interesting collab, but everyone else seemed to really like it, so it was cool to see it sell out. I personally am a big fan of the all yellow colorway. It's a very loud and solid colorway. And next up, we finally have the official release for the This Is Never That 550 pack. This pack consisted of 3 different colorways, one being like a forest green colorway, you got an interesting shade of purple, and then a chocolate brown colorway. I personally didn't really care too much about this collab, and I've covered this a lot in previous episodes. It just finally released in August. Next up, the highly anticipated Amine 610 collaboration finally dropped. It was very popular, it instantly sold out. It's definitely an interesting collaboration. My personal favorite touch of this collab was the little pocket of liquid with a floating banana. I thought that was really cool. It's similar to like a level you'd find in a toolbox. It's definitely a wild collab. I'm not too big of a fan of the brown and yellow combination on the 610, but it was popular nonetheless. And next up, we have the Double Taps collaboration on the 990 V6. It already officially released in Japan in August, but it's gonna get its wider release next week. You already saw my thoughts video on this collab. I really think it's a pretty poor and uninspired collab, and especially it's really overpriced. In Japan, it was equivalent to $300. In the wider release, it's not as expensive. It's only $260, but it's very overpriced in my opinion. It's just another gray suede 990 V6 with very little added to it. And now I'm gonna go over all of the reveals and leaks that happened during the month of August. First up are two shoes that will be debuting at the beginning of Teddy Santis Season 4. It's a 990 V4 and a 996 in the same colorway. The only official name for these colorways are gray and black. That's a very generic name, but as you can see, it's definitely an interesting colorway. You get light shades of gray. Both the 996 and the 990 V4 utilizes a hairy gray suede in the back panel, which I think is nice. But what's interesting, and it's unconfirmed right now, but the other material utilized on both the 990 V4 and 996, where the mesh is traditionally, there's this new material. It looks like corduroy to me. That's unconfirmed, of course. It might not be, but it's an interesting texture that really resembles the texture of corduroy, and it's really cool to see a different material being utilized instead of mesh. I'm really hoping it's corduroy. I love corduroy as a material, and I think it would be great for a shoe with corduroy to be dropping near the beginning of fall. And regardless, I'm definitely interested in picking up either of these shoes. And next up, we have a new Joe Freshgoods collaboration, this time being on the 650R. From the pictures he's shown, it's basically just a kind of light gray 650R. It's all gray, but you can see some Joe Freshgoods branding around the shoe, near the front toe box and on the tongue. I think those are nice touches, but I don't really care too much for this collab. It's kind of boring in my opinion, especially in contrast to his previous collaborations. And next up, we have a bunch of new ML Andor collaborations. I'll slowly list them off. There are a lot of them. Most of them are previews from their fall-winter lookbook. First up appears to be a new 550 colorway. It looks like a vintage aged look with some hits of gold and black. Next up, this might not be an ML Andor collab. It could easily just be a Teddy Santis Season 4 shoe, but we have what appears to be a 996 in all black leather with some hits of white. Just clean look, but pretty simple in my opinion. And next, by far the most interesting shoe out of the bunch is a Rainier Low. It appears to be mostly chalk white suede, and then you get a black tongue, black midsole, and some pops of red in the laces and in the outsole, which I think is pretty interesting. Next up, we have a CT500. It's a pretty simple shoe. It's all white with a black end logo. It's like a low top hard rubber outsole shoe. Nothing too special in my opinion. And then we have a 3-pack of collaboration colorways on a tennis shoe, the T500. It's also in collaboration with professional tennis player Coco Gauff. They're all pretty simple colorways. They're all white leather uppers, and you got an accent color of either pine green, red, or navy. It's a simple and clean collab and seems typical of most ALD collabs. And lastly, we have an interesting reveal / leak of a Stone Island collaboration on the 991 V2 model. I covered the interesting 991 V2 model months ago in one of these episodes. I was indifferent to it. A lot of people did not like it. I'm still indifferent to the shoe by itself, but in my opinion, I feel like the 991 just didn't really need another version. They could have just made a brand new model for the main UK line in my opinion. But Stone Island is finally gonna have a collab on a made model for the first time in a while. And those were all of the New Balances of August 2023. Let me know what your favorite New Balances for August were in the comments below. So that's gonna do it for this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Follow me on my socials. Check out the Intelligence site for more New Balance content and guides. If you really love the video, please consider leaving a super thanks in the tip jar below. And thanks for watching.